Next, clinically depressed means nothing will make you happy. Nothing. Um, all happiness experts tell you that unhappiness is a survival mechanism. Something is not perfect. Will you please look into this? The game is all about how quickly you can bounce back from unhappiness. So there was a guy considered the most happiest person on the world, like according to measurement, so to speak. And Mo Gaudat approached this guy and he said, "So, do you ever get mad, angry, frustrated, sad, all that?" And the guy goes, "Yeah, all the time. All the time I get sad, frustrated, angry, all the time." He said, "But that doesn't make you unhappy. That just makes you human because you get emotions. It's how quickly can you bounce back from frustration, anger, sadness, back to happy. How quickly can you bounce back?" That's a dope comment I wrote down. Because it lets you know, like, you don't have to be happy all the time. Like, we're not machines. If you're sad or frustrated, even a little bit, that just makes you human. Bounce back. All right, so next, the only way you can get yourself to be unhappy is for you to say, "I don't like this, and I want life to be different." That's not going to change life. That's just going to change you and start to make you miserable. So it's like training of the brain to think complaint and negative. So this is a Chinese proverb. They say, pain is inevitable and suffering is optional. That's deep, like tattoo
That's
deep.
deep. Wow.
Pain is
I'm writing
inevitable.
that. I'm writing that in my
Suffering
notes.
is optional. Okay. Here's another thing. One day we might talk about how fucked up the world is. One day. But to this day, like, we've always kept it positive and like optimistic in here. You know what I mean? But this is a real statistic that really, like, I never forgot it. It kind of made sense to me. Is they said most suicidal people are the most realistic people on planet Earth in psychology. They said most suicidal people are the most realistic people on planet Earth. And they actually said, because they did a study on this and even on self-made millionaires, and they researched that most self-made millionaires are overly optimistic, like almost delusionally optimistic. Most self-made millionaires. You know what I mean? So when I heard that, I was like, huh. Would I rather be that realistic person? And I'm right all the time. I'm right. This is realistic. I'm right. Or would I rather just be that overly optimistic? Even if I'm wrong, if it's positive and optimistic, fuck it. I'd rather be that self-made millionaire. And it makes sense. What they're saying of these self-made millionaires is these self-made millionaires believe that they should be making 300 million a year, and they're only making 3 million a year. You know what I'm saying? 3
Wow.
million's not bad. It's still, you're crushing it, 3 million a year. But they believe, these overly optimistic self-made millionaires believe, nah, I should be getting 300 mil. Where the bag at?
Well, yeah, and I remember when I was in high school, there was this like kind of data analysis done on like how much money people make and how much they keep in their bank accounts and all this other stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
And when they looked at it, it's like only like 80%, or I'm sorry, reverse that. Only 20% of the people like in just the Americas are ever going to see $1 million in their bank account in their lifetime, or even make that much.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
I
before,
mean,
go ahead.
to be making 3 million a year, even just be making 1 million a year, you're doing you know top tier shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think one of the things about that, the only thing that I can see an issue with on that statistic about self-made millionaires, and that, I think a lot of them are driven by not just a dollar. I think they're driven by the process. I think that's one thing that if you we had a guy come up to me, he's like, dude, I'm down, having a hard time. And I explained to him, like, look, the only thing you can control is the process. That's it. If you know that you put in the process, put in the work, it's going to work out for you. That's the only thing you could take home with you. I think a lot of self-made millionaires believe they can because they understand the process. It's like, there's a lot of people who make a ton of money who kill themselves. We know that. With statistics, we know that happens. So a lot of self-made millionaires, I think they also have an understanding that the process is a big portion to their success, like just their overall contentment with their life. And I think a good portion of people who don't focus on the process. They focus on the results. And if you chase the results, you're going to go mad. You're going to be suicidal. You're going to be unhappy. I think that's one thing that gets left out in that when we talk about millionaires and people who are high performers. I think they also have a real enjoyment and they understand that the process is what makes them the money, not just the money getting there. And I think that's one thing that not a lot of people want to hear either, is that, are you focusing on the process? No, I just want to be successful. Well, congratulations, you're going to be neither. That's kind of how I see it too, is that once you start to accept that there is that process and you must be good at it, at least that you can take home, you at least get something. The rest will come. So I think I can see somebody becoming very delusional because they can put their eggs into one basket, one potentially, from the outside looking in, delusional basket, because they understand the process. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.